Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Shifa. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, teacher.
You all of you can hear me?
Yes.
Till I wait for the 2-3 minutes.
Please, is this session for both new and old students or just for the new students?
No, this session is for the previous students. Okay? Please mute your mic.
Mohammed,
Mr. J,
mute your
please,
mic.
is this
Mohammed.
session for both new and old students or just for the new students?
It's for the old students, not the new ones.
Their fees. Is this you? Go, let's see the next one.
Victor, please mute your mic. Victor, mute your mic.
Don't tap me.
Okay, everyone have come?
We are there.
I would ask the new students, please mute your mics. You just hear whatever the lecture is going on here. Okay? Because same thing you also are going to study later on.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, Richard?
Yes, I just joined in.
Your voice always gets disturbed. Why?
I just
Now, shall I start the class now?
Yeah, I just joined the class.
Yes, you can.
Then.
You can, yeah.
Are you all able to see? Yes, here, Raymond, you have sent me the abstract today. But you have you sent the proposal also? Your topic proposal?
Actually, I sent my research my theme or the title,
Okay.
I think last week. And then today I just submitted with you the
Yeah,
abstract.
I have seen that, but I was not able to find out that your topic there. That's why I'm asking. You have not sent any topic there.
No, actually, even on the abstract, the topic is there. And then I
Okay.
sent another letter,
Okay.
another email which contained the theme.
Okay.
Yes,
Fine.
please.
Okay, everyone. We will start our class of the introduction or the background. How we have to write down the introduction in research papers and how we have to write down that background. Right? All of you?
Okay. Okay.
So first of all, the introduction serves, what is an introduction? What do you understand by this? Can anybody tell me here? Yes, Raymond, you tell me. What is an introduction for a research paper? If you are going to give an introduction, what you will give in that?
I want to contribute.
Raymond, I'm asking you.
Yeah. Introduction to research.
Okay.
Hello?
You can go on. You can go on.
Okay, it's like a brief description about the research.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, that's what I can say. Yeah.
Okay. Now, Raymond, you?
An introduction is an overview of what you would want to discuss in your paper.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Anything else you want to include in this?
For example, if you are writing your introduction,
Yeah.
and let me say on chapter 1,
Yes.
you introduce or you bring about an overview of what is going to be contained in chapter 1.
Right.
So you look at the background in brief. You have to explain the statement of a problem.
Yes.
You have to explain the objectives, the main objective, as well as when you explain the objectives, you also explain the research questions. Okay. Thereafter, if you are going to do the hypothesis or you do the research questions, either of the two, then from there you have to explain the significance of the study and the outline of the study, I believe.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, Precious. Tell me. Precious, are you there? Yes. Tell me, Precious.
Precious is not here.
She's raising hand right now.
Oh, she's back. She's back, yes.
Justice, you tell. What
Hello.
about the John? He's not coming right nowadays. Two
Hello.
or three have gone.
I'm around, Justice.
Yes, Justice. Tell me, what is the introduction? What do you think about what is introduction?
Thank you very much. Actually, depending on a school specific, some schools research outline. When we talk about research introduction, is an overview or the structure of how the research is going to be done. So normally the introduction shows the background of the study, the problem statement, the research questions and objective, significance, scope, and organizations. And also, some schools also use research background to replace introduction. When we talk about the background, that is where you are looking to the research topic, a broad view of the topic. What is the situation in the world, Africa, then to your context. So you describe the topic or the problem you have identified, how it is viewed by people outside, how it is viewed by your country and even the area you want to study. How is the situation? How is the situation or how is the topic viewed by others? So you can narrow it to your problem statement, then you will come to your research questions or objectives. Mostly, some replace the research questions with research hypothesis or hypothesis.
My question here, I'm asking, what do you understand by the introduction?
Okay, thank you. The introduction is the overview of what you are going to research into.
Yes.
It gives a brief outline of how your research is going to be conducted.
Right.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you. Okay, fine, everyone. You have...
Yeah, Precious is here. I want to say something.
Say something. Say.
Okay. In my own understanding, a research introduction, the introduction announces your topic, your research topic. It provides context and a rationale for your work. Before starting your research questions and hypotheses, a well-written introduction can set the tone for the paper. Introductions help to catch the reader's interest, and then it communicates the hypothesis or thesis statement of the research. Then again, in my own understanding as well, to add to that, the introduction is the first few sentences which act as indication of a broader problem, which you will then focus on it more closely in the rest of your write-up. So that introduction captures the reader's interest. So it is from the introduction that the reader will decide whether to continue to read through your work or research, or whether to stop at that point. Thank you.
Okay. I'm seeing other also raising their hands here. Yes, Orinder. Yes, Orin, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. To me, introduction is what talks about the background, the overview of your research. You talk about the background, what exactly is believed about the research you are going to, and then you look into the what exactly you want to achieve with the research. So your introduction talks about the overview of the background, and then what you want to achieve with your research. Also, it talks about the hypothesis, and then it's what gives your reader what exactly to look for and what exactly that person is going to come across in your research while going over while going through the whole research as a whole. So it introduces your reader to the background and also the hypothesis and also what exactly your researcher really wants to achieve. Thank you.
In a conclusion, we can say that introduction is a kind of to tell your reader about your research in a particular field. Right, everyone? In a concise way, we can define the introduction like this. Fine? I think everyone got the point here. Once you are going to give your introduction of your research to your reader, you have to tell them about your research, you have to tell them your procedure of the research, and you have to keep 3 or 4 things in your mind about that. Right?
Yes, right.
Yes.
Yes.
Then I would like to say the purpose of the work in the form of your hypothesis, your question, or your research problems should be there. It should briefly explaining your rational methodological approach, you're highlighting the potential outcomes your study can reveal, and describing the remaining structure of the paper. Right, everyone? Here, what the structure of an introduction should be like, that it should explain your rationale, okay? It should explain the methodological approach, how you are approaching towards your research, how you have approached, sorry. And then it highlight the potential outcomes, something relevant outcome from your research. It should reveal that. Then it should describe the remaining structure of the paper, which it has given. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
Now,
Well
once
noted.
yes. Once you go forward, you will see for the introduction, you have to put 4 points in your mind. One is, what was I studying? Why was this topic important to investigate? What did we know about this topic before I did this study? And fourth is, how will this study advance our knowledge? Yes, who's there? Who is raising hand here? Somebody was raising hand. Yes, Emmanuel?
Yeah, I wanted to make a contribution just on the question that you posed, what the introduction is.
Yes.
Yes, so in my own understanding, I would say an introduction, it's something that gives you a brief picture of what is expected or what you expect to find in a research. Yeah,
Yes.
that's what I can say in brief term. Yeah.
Okay. In a short form, you can include that also, that part also, which is here I have already described that in a short or in briefly, you have to explain your approach, and you have to highlight the potential outcomes in that. Okay?
Okay.
Now, all of you have to keep in mind these 4 points while writing your introduction. In this, what was I studying? That means on what topic you are going to research. Why was this topic important to investigate? You have to keep in mind why you have opted for this topic. Why you want to investigate in this topic, what is important is there. You have to keep in mind. Then what did we know about this topic before I did this study? How much knowledge you have about that topic? This thing also matters a lot, because before starting anything, you should know what is the history behind it. Okay? Then the fourth part is, how will this study advance our knowledge? How our knowledge is going to grow in this study, in this research. Got this point, everyone here?
Yes, noted.
Well noted.
First of all, once we are writing the introduction, it should be in such a simple and in an attractive way so that a reader should get attracted towards your introduction, start taking interest in your introduction. That shows that a well-written introduction is important because quite simply you never get a second chance to make a good first impression, because first impression is the last. Who will complete this, my phrase? First impression is the last.
The last impression.
Right, it is the last impression. So the opening paragraph of your paper will provide your readers with their initial impressions about the logic of your argument, your writing style, and overall quality of your research, and ultimately the validity of your findings and conclusions. So once you are writing an introduction, it will give a overview of you to the reader. What kind of personality you are, it will give an overview of yours to the reader. Because what kind of topic you have chosen, then what kind of logic you are giving in your arguments in that, what is your way of writing in there, then what kind of quality you are involving in your research. That all gives a kind of your impression to the reader. So in the next time, he will automatically try to take interest in your research papers, right? Because it is very necessary for a reader to get an eye on your introduction so that he will take interest in your research. Once you go for the Viva and all that processes, it is the introduction who makes the reader involved in your research. And then it is very easy for you further to go ahead with your research. Right, everyone here?
Right,
Yes,
noted.
right.
Yes, Mister.
So we'll talk about the structure and approach here about the introduction. The introduction is the broad beginning of the paper that answers 3 important questions for the reader. Once a reader will see your paper, he will just have 3 questions in his mind. One is, what is this? Second is, why I am reading it? And what do you want me to think about this? What do you want? How should I react to it? So that is all up to you, that all these 3 questions, keeping in mind, you write your introduction. Right, everyone? Yes, Emmanuel?
Right, noted.
Well noted, yeah.
Well noted, well noted.
That is what I want. Keep these things in mind and well noted with you, so that once you are writing, you should not see here and there that what should I write now. Okay?
Yes, please.
Okay, noted.
Wait a minute. Now, I will come to the point here. These are the general phrases which are associated with writing an introduction. Okay? First of all, you have to establish an area to research by, like highlighting the importance of the topic. You have to making general statements about the topic. You have to presenting the overview on current research on the subject. Whatever the current research you are going to present there, you have to present an overview over it. What do you think about it and what it is and how it is going to help the community, how it is helping you too. So such kind of different kinds of points you will make you to write a area. You are making an area for your introduction in this. Then there is a identify and research niche by. Niche by means you are creating a some kind of presentable thing in front of the reader with the help of introduction, that what kind of subject you have for your research, what a kind of topic you have for your research. So you have to make your research more interesting. You have to present it in a such way that it covers so many things around you, like it opposing and existing assumptions. Like suppose once you start writing, start writing about opposing things. Okay, on one topic you have chosen, you have to write against things which are coming to it. The person will in this the person get attracted towards the opposite things which you are presenting there, right? Then you will slowly conclude towards your topic. Okay, everyone got this point here or not?
Yes, noted, Ms. Shipra. Noted.
Noted. What is the meaning by me for niche here? Creating a niche for your topic here. Got this point here? Anyone?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, then you have to place your research within the research niche by. Means whatever the area you have created for your topic here, you have to write down in that only your research what you have created, like stating the intent of your study, then outlining the key characteristics of your study, then describing about the important results you have seen in your research, then giving a brief overview of the structure of the paper. So such kind of things you can include in your introduction while writing the niche in the introduction for your research paper. Got this?
Yes, I got that. Noted.
Yes, we got that.
Point is given here that you can see this note here. It is written here, even though the introduction is the first main section of a research paper. Got it? It is often useful to finish the introduction very late in the writing process, because the structure of the paper, the reporting and analysis of the results and conclusions will have been completed, and it ensures that your introduction matches the overall structure of your paper. Got this point here?
Yes, please.
Okay, fine then.
Please, I don't get the point, please.
Yes, who is there?
It's Uche, I didn't get the point.
Which point? I am not able to understand. Who's asking here?
It's Uche, the introduction. It said the finishing late. I don't understand.
Introduction. Uche, I'm not able to hear. I'm not getting you. What do you want to ask here?
You said something about finishing the note part, something about finishing the introduction late. So I don't understand how.
You have to, you know about this notepad, right? Uche? Uche, I'm asking you here.
Yes, I'm here.
Your voice is very low.
I'm here.
Okay. Then in this notepad, it is written, even though the introduction is the first main section of the research paper, it is the first section of the research paper which is going to tell about your research, okay? How your research is starting. it is often useful to finish the introduction very late in the writing process, because the structure of the paper, the reporting and analysis of the results and the conclusion will have been completed, and it ensures that your introduction matches the overall structure of your paper. So one point I want to tell you, don't get confused with introduction with the abstract. Okay, everyone here? Introduction is the first paper from where your research paper starts. Okay? So it is,
Okay.
yes, they are telling you here that it is sometimes it is very useful to write down the introduction in last of your completion of your research paper, as at the completion of your research paper you will get the you will get the reporting, you will get the analysis of the results and the conclusions about the research. So that is more beneficial for you to write easily your introduction and in a very good and effective manner. Right, everyone?
Right.
Right.
Yes.
Yes,
Right.
ma'am.
Miss Shipra?
Yes.
Okay, please, I have a question. Okay, now my question is, so what, from all that you have explained so far regarding the introduction, so what you're insinuating now is that we can go ahead and write the abstract, write the methodology, and write every other aspect of the research, and then write the introduction last after we have issued out our questionnaires, we have concluded on the data collection and what have you. Then we can now write the introduction last. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I am saying same thing as yesterday also when I taught you all about the abstract. I said the same thing, that if you write your abstract in the end of your completion of the research, it will be easy for you. Present all the things clearly there. Okay. Same thing is with the introduction. Abstract is a kind of letter which you are sending to somebody with your research papers. Okay, and introduction is the part of the research paper, but once it also includes all the things like analysis, your results, your conclusions, your reporting, your data, all things it includes in that. Okay, so once your research will complete, then only you will be able to write your conclusions and your results. Before that, you can't write. I'm right or not?
It is right.
Yes. So, but your introduction paper always be fixed at the first position of your research paper. Got this point here?
Yes, we get it.
Yes.
Yes.
Once you complete your research, the first paper which will come on the research paper will be your introduction. Then your themes will come, your topic will come, why you have chosen that topic, then those things will come. Okay? But mainly we ask to write down your introduction in the end of your research part. Got everyone here?
Yes, Miss Shipra.
Yes, I've gotten you.
Yes.
Fine then. Now we'll come to the point here, delimitations of the study. One we have the limitations, one we have the delimitations. So here we are going to start with the delimitations of the study. The delimitations refer to those characteristics that limit the scope and define the conceptual boundaries of a study. How many of you got this point here? Anybody who got any point on this line of delimitation? No. So I will explain you here that here we are talking about the characteristics of the limitations so that we can delimit them, so that we can go ahead. We get the scope for our study. Okay? So first of all, we will read out to the characteristics of the limitations which we are going to face in our research. Fine, everyone? Until unless you will not knowing about your limitations, you will not be able to delimit them. You will not be able to ignore them, or you will not be able to finish them. Okay, you can't able to find out the solution for them. Is it right for you all? Got everyone
Can
here?
you,
Say yes.
no. Can you please come again, please?
Here I'm talking about the delimitations. First of all, we have to go for the delimitations of the study. In delimitations, we understand the characteristics of the limit, the scope, how the scope of our research is getting limited. Okay, this is what we are going to see here. How these characteristics are affecting your research. Once we will keep on studying that, then only we can find the solution here. Fine?
Yes, I get.
Okay.
So, in that way, we have to go for the delimitations. This is determined by the conscious exclusionary and the inclusionary decisions you make about how to investigate the research problem. Okay? In other words, not only should you tell the reader that what it is you are studying and why, but you must also acknowledge why you rejected the alternative approaches that could have been used to examine the research problem. In this delimitations, you are going to tell the reader in your introduction part that why you have choose this approach only. Whatever the approach you are going to take, whatever the methods you are going to take for your research, it depends on you. But you must have that clarity for the reader that why you have chosen that path to go on your research. Okay?
Okay.
Yes. So first in that limiting step, the first one is the choice of research problem itself. You have to find out the research problem first. Then you have to choose in those between those research problems that on which problems you have to work on and why you have to work on and what kind of method you can take to go through that path. Right? Say yes or
Yeah,
no.
right.
All
Yes.
time I have to tell you that
Right.
say yes or no.
Yes.
So the next part will come here is these should be noted the conclusion of your introduction. Examples of delimiting choices would be the key aims and objectives of your study, the research questions that you address there, the variables of your interest, that is various factors and features of the phenomenon being studied there, the method of your investigation, then any relevant alternative which you have opted for that, and relevant alternative theoretical frameworks that could have been adopted. Right, everyone here?
Right, noted.
Right.
Good.
Right. Noted.
Now,
Yes, noted.
now in this delimitation
Right.
here, that delimitations refer to the initial choices made about the broader overall design of your study and should not be confused with documenting the limitations of your study discovered after the study has been completed. What's this point here? Understood this point of delimitation here? This one?
Yes.
Understood.
Good. Now, the third part which we will come on introduction is the narrative flow. Issues to keep in mind that will help the narrative flow in your introduction. What is the meaning of the narrative flow? That means once you start reading an introduction, it should be in flow. That person should not keep their eye from there to there. They keep on reading your introduction. Okay, it should be in a flow so that the person should be keep in touch with your introduction there. For that, you have to keep some points in your mind that is your introduction should clearly identify the subject area of interest. It should denote what kind of interest you have in your subject and how you are looking towards it. Okay? Once you will write down it, it should be in a clear manner so that the person should understand it clearly in a easy way. It should not be in a complicated language. Yeah, that yesterday also I have told you your abstract should not be in a complicated language. Here also your introduction should be in a simple and creative language. A simple strategy to follow is to use the keywords from your title in the first few sentences of the introduction. Then this will help focus the introduction on the topic at the appropriate level and ensures that you get to the primary subject matter quickly without losing of focus or discussing information that is too general. The whole conclusion of this para comes out is that you have to write in such a way your introduction that first of all it should point towards your topic. You can choose different kind of words related to your topics. So then slowly we'll come up to the other level of the topic and start describing it further so that the focus of a reader should not get here and there. It should not get distracted. Okay? Got this point, everyone here?
Yes, 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 I got it.
Yes.
Now the comes over here is that establish a context by providing a brief and balanced review of the pertinent published literature that is available on the subject. Here, the key is to summarize for the reader what is known about the specific research problem before you did your analysis. Okay, you have to summarize the key points here. Whatever you have introduced in your research, you have to summarize those points here. This part of introduction should not present a comprehensive literature review, but consists of a general review of the important foundational research literature that lays a foundation for understanding the key elements of the research problem. Okay, everyone, got this point here?
Yes, noted, noted.
Good. Now the clearly third point which I want to discuss is here is clearly the hypothesis that you investigated. So you have to clearly write down your hypothesis, what you are thinking about your investigation. Got? When you are first learning to write in this it's actually preferable to use a past statement like the purpose of this study was to. Presenting in a way that why you were Got everyone here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, all right.
Who is there? Please mute your mic. Once you have any question, ask me in the end of the lecture. Got everyone here?
Yes,
Now,
Shipra.
yes. So as we are using the statement here is the purpose of this study was to. So you have to pretend to write down your research part, research introductory part in a past tense way. That what was your motto? My motto was to conclude this. My research paper was based on the subject because of this reason. Okay, I wanted to take up this way of research or the methodology because then about your reason, right everyone? Now I'll
Yes,
come.
right.
Okay,
Yes.
now I'll come to the fourth point here. Why did you choose this kind of research study or design? Now here you have to tell a clear statement about your approach to the problem you studied. You have to tell what kind of approach you have used and why. You should be clear in your mind about this. Then only you will be able to write down its question, answer for this question here. This is usually follow your statement of purpose in the last paragraph of the introduction. Now, got all the points here, everyone?
Yes, I got the points. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, good.
Well, rest of the things will tell me after you will write your introduction, okay?
Please come again. I didn't hear that.
I was just joking here that when you will write your introduction part later on, I'll come to know whether you will understand this or not. Okay? Now the engaging reader. This is a very crucial part and a very descriptive part, how to engage your reader. From the starting, I am just emphasizing on a one point that your reader should not put his or her eye away from your introduction part. Because once he is not taking interest in your introduction part, he will not approve your thesis, approve your research work. He will not going to read that. Okay? So you all of you have to must write your introductory part in such a way that it should be eye-catching. It should be in such a way that it engage your reader to read it out. Compel your reader to read it out. Sometimes you all of you have seen that sometimes you try to read a book or a novel and one point comes like you feel that today I will read this next page also. Today I will read this next page also. So this kind of continuity a reader wants from you. So such kind of content you have to involve into introduction so that he is easily able to engage himself to your research part. Okay, everyone?
Got
Yes,
it.
okay.
Got it. Got it.
Yes.
Okay, Shipra.
Yes.
I think someone asked a question about what's the difference between the introduction and the abstract in the chat. I don't know if you could touch on that.
I am not able to get you that you are asking me about the abstract or the introduction here. Idosa, I'm asking you, you want to ask something here?
Okay. I think my understanding of the abstract is that normally it's more like a synopsis of the entire research report. Normally that's the abstract, but the introduction is normally the very first chapter of your study report. So that's the difference to me.
Okay, that is your view, right?
View. Or should I say my experience? Yeah.
Okay. But whatever I have tell you right now, are you able to understand that?
I did.
Right. That is the main question here. Whatever I am explaining to you here, you are understanding it or not? Because once you are not able to understand, you will not be able to keep those points which I am explaining here. Okay?
Yeah, that's right.
Yes. Yesterday also I told you about the abstract there, and here I am telling you about the introduction. Both the things can be written after completing your research part, project part, but you have to write down in a clear, simple language, so that the person who is reading your introduction or the abstract should understand things in one go. So in this engaging reader part, you're open with a compelling story, include a strong quotations or vivid, perhaps unexpected anecdote, pose a provocative or thought-provoking questions in this, right? Cite is to describe a puzzling scenario or incongruity. Like above, I have told you about making a niche about your project here. You have to make a niche kind of presentable thing. Here I have told you, you have to place your research within the research niche. So the same meaning it is telling you here also, how a reader will get engaged to your work, to your introduction part. It is because of writing something puzzling, something provocative, something using a strong quotation marks, something compelling kind of story which you can include in that. And last is cite a stirring example or a case study that illustrates why the research problem is important here. So these 5 points, from these 5 points, you can choose any one to start your introduction. Okay? Either it is a compelling story, either it is using strong quotations, or a provocative language or provocative questions, or a puzzling scenario, or your stirring case studies about the same subject. Got everyone here?
Yes, madam.
Yes, please. Noted.
Yes,
Noted.
noted.
Now I'm
Noted.
Gotcha.
Okay, everyone. Any questions, any doubts? You want to clear it right now?
I think I'm okay with everything that has been said.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, fine, everyone. Just unmute your mic for 1 second and say yes. You are through with it.
Yes, I got you.
Yes. I got you. Noted.
Yes.
Ackley?
Yes.
Yeah, everything is good.
Yes,
Thank
madam.
Okay.
Yes.
Richard? You got me? Okay.
I got you, ma'am.
Orinde, you got me here?
Yes, I got you.
Justice?
Yes, ma. I'm okay.
Fine. Okay. So if any problem or any doubt comes, you can mail me, okay?
Okay.
Sure.
Fine.
All right.
Okay, ma. Okay.
Guys,
Okay.
have a nice evening all. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Shipra.
Thank
you
you,
very
Ms.
much.
Shipra. Thank you very much for
Thank
your
you,
time.
madam.
Thank you, ma. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We're grateful.